Okay, here's the deadlift, done in a way that feels particularly therapeutic and spine conscious, but you can absolutely go super heavy with this. So here's my setup. I reach my hands down and forward. I'm using my lats and my pecs here to create stability. By activating the lat and the pec, I stabilize the whole way through my spine and upper body. And you can see I've got a pronounced rounding through my mid-back, and then I extend my head up tall for an upper back extension. Now, once I do that, I feel like I've created this elastic tightness through my whole torso. And then as I set down into my hinge, I'm looking for my sit bones. I'm thinking pointy sit bones while maintaining that torso position. Now, as I do this, my weight is over my midfoot. I'm actually feeling the kind of elasticity of my arch in my foot, and I'm feeling for the ball of my foot too. I'm not super heavy on my heels. The reason for setting up this way is it helps you to feel the elastic tension through the whole posterior chain, all through the back of the leg and all through the fascia and the back of the ribs. So the whole posterior chain is under stretch, and it feels fantastic. The weight does come back a little bit onto my heels as I start to pull, as the weight comes around the knee. But at the very bottom, it's always the midfoot, because I'm actually using my foot and my calf to help my hamstrings and my glutes to shorten. I can't stress enough how important the lats are in this movement. I'm kind of sweeping the bar in towards my body. And if you think about it, starting slightly further forward on the foot and slightly further over the bar means that the bar is less likely to pull you further forward, because you, as you initiate your pull, are going to be pulling your body weight back. Now, the important thing is that the line of pull of the lat, the way the lat helps you to stabilize your body, depends on how your body is positioned. So if you excessively arch, you won't have the same kind of engagement through your lats as if you allow there to be a natural S-curve, so a little bit of kyphosis or curvature or doming of the mid-back. The reason that I don't set up with my shoulders back and a really pronounced arch is because that means I can't create intra-abdominal pressure as well as when I close off the front of my body slightly like this. Imagine closing off the front of the body or dropping the ribs down is like creating a pressurized canister of air. Now, if you flare the ribs and you overly extend the back, then you open the lid for that canister and all the air just sort of pushes forward and out into your belly. Now, if the front of the body is expanding, then that means the back is compressing. And that's not what we want here. We want nice strong abs compressing and sort of sealing off that soft balloon of a belly, so that when we breathe in and pressurize, we're creating like a belt of stability from the diaphragm all the way around the spine. The other reason why this posture is good is because you're proactively, consciously rounding through the mid-back. And that means that not only do you have a more advantageous pulling position where you're kind of artificially lengthening your arms, but because you're already rounded and you've created a bit of a stretch or tension in that position, the weight is less likely to pull you into further rounding. And choosing to consciously round through the mid-back and slightly upper back means that that is more likely to round further than your lower back. Whereas if you set up with a super tight mid and upper back, in an extended shoulders back position, then what you actually often see is people rounding their lumbar spine very low down instead. So they end up with like the opposite of a natural healthy S-curve. Anyway, all of these cues that I'm giving you, they're all things that you need to feel in your own body, and they need to feel like they're working. So don't just copy how I look, don't just copy what I'm saying. Look to understand it in a way that works for you, and don't do anything that feels utterly shit for your body.